Alien abductions, a phrase that sends chills down our spines, evoking images of otherworldly beings and inexplicable phenomena. It's a concept as old as time, yet as futuristic as it gets. A notion that has intrigued, baffled, and terrified us in equal measure. But what if, amidst the countless stories and theories, there was one tale that stood out? One that was so compelling, so chilling, it became a cornerstone in the lore of extraterrestrial encounters. Enter Barney and Betty Hill, an American couple from New Hampshire, whose ordinary lives were turned upside down by an extraordinary claim. The year was 1961. The Hills, an interracial couple and active community members, were driving home one night when they reportedly saw a UFO. As the story goes, Barney observed humanoid figures on board. They returned home with odd sensations and physical evidence of an encounter that was anything but ordinary. The Hills' account was so convincing that it caught the attention of Walter N. Webb, an astronomer who believed their story to be truthful. But what makes their tale truly unforgettable are the details that unfolded after that fateful night. Details that would later be revealed through hypnosis and vivid dreams. Details that would forever etch the Hills' story into the annals of UFO abduction lore. But before we delve into those chilling details, let's take a step back. Let's set the stage. New Hampshire, 1961, a couple on a drive home. A light in the sky, an encounter that would change their lives forever. So buckle up as we delve into the chilling tale of Barney and Betty Hill and their unforgettable night in New Hampshire. It all started on a seemingly ordinary night in September 1961. Barney and Betty Hill were driving home through the tranquil landscapes of New Hampshire. It was a route they had taken countless times before, a road as familiar to them as the back of their hands. But that night, the ordinary would swiftly give way to the extraordinary. As they journeyed, a peculiar light caught their attention, a light that moved in ways that defied conventional understanding, in patterns that seemed to laugh in the face of physics. It was a light that, to the layman, bore an uncanny resemblance to a UFO. The Hills, being the curious souls that they were, decided to investigate. Barney, armed with nothing but his binoculars and a heart full of courage, stepped out of the car. As he peered into the sky, he saw something that defied all his senses. There, hovering in the sky, was a craft. But this was no ordinary craft. Through his binoculars, Barney observed humanoid figures on board. Figures that looked nothing like any life form he had ever encountered. Now let's pause for a moment and put ourselves in the Hills' shoes. Imagine the adrenaline coursing through your veins, the pure shock, the disbelief. It's a situation that would leave most of us paralyzed with fear. But the Hills, they were made of sterner stuff. Despite the strangeness of the situation, they managed to regain their composure. With a sense of urgency and a dash of disbelief, they got back in their car and drove home. But they were not the same. They felt odd, their bodies tingling with strange sensations. Their clothes, their car, everything bore physical evidence of their strange encounter. Evidence that would later become crucial pieces of this enigmatic puzzle. As they reached home, they tried to make sense of what had happened. But how do you rationalize the irrational? How do you explain the unexplainable? They were left with more questions than answers. This was no ordinary night, and they were no ordinary couple. They were now part of something much bigger, something that transcended their understanding. Little did they know, the strange occurrences of that night were only the beginning. In the days following the incident, life was anything but normal for the Hills. The world around them continued to spin, but for Barney and Betty, each day was filled with a growing sense of unease. They found themselves grappling with the aftermath of their bizarre encounter. Betty, in particular, was troubled by vivid dreams. She dreamt of starry skies and unfamiliar beings, of strange examinations and uncanny conversations. These dreams were not mere figments of her imagination, but rather they were fragments of memories pieced together from the jigsaw puzzle of that fateful night. The dreams were so vivid, so real, that they blurred the lines between reality and fantasy, waking life and slumber. The Hills also discovered physical evidence that further compounded their anxiety. Their clothes were inexplicably damaged, Their car bore unusual markings, and their wristwatches inexplicably stopped working. These were tangible reminders of their encounter, silent witnesses to the events of that night, a night which, despite their best efforts, remained shrouded in mystery. The couple was left with a gnawing sense of uncertainty. They were ordinary people thrust into an extraordinary situation, and they found themselves at a loss. They were haunted by the unexplainable events of that night, and their once peaceful existence was replaced by a relentless quest for answers. The world around them may have continued as before, but for Barney and Betty Hill, everything had changed. The Hills were now on a quest for answers, seeking to unravel the mystery that had turned their lives upside down. To uncover the truth, the Hills turned to an unconventional method: hypnosis. This was no ordinary step into the realm of the subconscious, but a journey into the unknown, a voyage to unravel the mysteries of that fateful night in New Hampshire. The hypnosis sessions were conducted separately to avoid any potential influence or contamination of one's account by the other's experiences. Betty and Barney Hill, though united in their quest for answers, had to face the depths of their memories alone. Their individual narratives, recorded and scrutinized, would bring to light the chilling details of their alleged extraterrestrial encounter. Betty was the first to undergo hypnosis. Under the guidance of a skilled hypnotist, she began to remember. Her account was vivid and unnerving. She described being taken aboard a strange craft, where she was examined by humanoid figures. They probed her, took samples, and communicated with her, not through words, but through a form of telepathy. It was an encounter that was both terrifying and fascinating, a glimpse into a world beyond our own. Then it was Barney's turn. His recollections under hypnosis were strikingly similar to Betty's. He too described being ushered into an alien craft, subjected to a strange examination, and communicated with via telepathy. The resemblance between their accounts was uncanny, lending a disturbing credibility to their story. Could this be mere coincidence, or was it evidence of a shared experience, an experience that defied our understanding of reality? The details they remembered were not just eerie, they were disturbing. The sense of being powerless, the invasive examinations, the unfamiliar surroundings, the non-human entities, all these elements painted a picture that was unsettling. Their memories, unlocked under hypnosis, told a tale of a night that was far from ordinary. Yet, amid the fear and strangeness, there was a sense of wonder. They described technology beyond our understanding, beings from another world, a form of communication that transcended language. Their accounts were a mix of dread and awe, a testament to the vast and mysterious universe we inhabit. But the hypnosis sessions did more than just unearth memories. They offered the Hills a chance to confront their fears, to grapple with the inexplicable, and to seek closure. And they provided a narrative that would captivate the world, a narrative that continues to intrigue and provoke debate. What they revealed under hypnosis was disturbing, to say the least. But it was also a story of resilience, of curiosity, and of the endless quest for truth. It was a story that would become a cornerstone of UFO lore, a story that continues to resonate with those who gaze at the stars and wonder. The Hills' story did not just stir their lives, it stirred the world. When Betty and Barney Hill reported their close encounter of the third kind, it wasn't just another tale of UFO sightings. It was a narrative that would indelibly mark the discourse on extraterrestrial encounters. Their account, as unnerving as it was compelling, fueled a worldwide fascination with alien abductions. It wasn't just the story of a couple who claimed to have been abducted by aliens. It was a tale that questioned our understanding of the universe and our place within it. The Hills' narrative ushered in a new era in UFO lore, one where the inexplicable and the otherworldly were no longer confined to the realm of science fiction, but had allegedly manifested in the very fabric of their reality. The Hills' story didn't merely echo within the confines of UFO enthusiast circles, it reverberated across the globe. Their account was so compelling, so vividly detailed, that it captured the attention of the mainstream media. It was widely publicized, discussed, dissected, and debated. The world was captivated by their account, and their story was adapted into books and movies, further embedding their narrative into the cultural consciousness. Notably, their tale found a believer in Walter N. Webb, an astronomer. Webb, a man of science, found their account credible, lending an added layer of intrigue to their story. His belief in their account was a testament to the compelling nature of their narrative, further fueling the fascination and curiosity surrounding their encounter. The Hills story has left an indelible mark on UFO lore. It has become a reference point, a case study, a narrative that is revisited time and again in discussions on alien abductions. Their account has shaped the discourse, challenged perceptions, and sparked endless debates and discussions. The Hills story remains a cornerstone of alien abduction lore, a chilling tale that continues to captivate and intrigue. Despite the extensive investigations and the passage of time, the Hills story still leaves us with many unanswered questions. What truly transpired that night in New Hampshire in 1961? Is there a rational explanation for the Hills encounter? Or does it genuinely offer a glimpse into the uncharted territory of extraterrestrial life? These are just some of the questions that continue to baffle us and fuel the debate between skeptics and believers. On one hand, we have the skeptics, who argue that the Hills experience could be explained by natural phenomena or psychological factors. Could it have been a misidentified aircraft, a vivid dream, or even a hallucination brought on by stress? These theories propose that the Hills encounter was not an abduction by extraterrestrials, but rather a product of their human minds attempting to make sense of an unusual experience. On the other hand, we have the believers who maintain that the Hills account is credible evidence of extraterrestrial life. They point to the detailed descriptions provided by the Hills, the physical evidence found after their encounter, and the similar accounts from other alleged abductees. For them, these factors are enough to conclude that the Hills experience was indeed a close encounter of the third kind. However, despite the myriad theories and debates, we are yet to arrive at a definitive answer. The lack of concrete proof leaves the door wide open for speculation, further investigations, and a multitude of interpretations. The truth, it seems, is still out there, waiting to be discovered. It's also worth noting that the Hills story has served to highlight the broader issue of our place in the universe. It has prompted us to question if we are indeed alone, or if there are other intelligent beings out there. It has spurred scientific exploration and research, and ignited the imaginations of millions around the world. Yet, as we grapple with these unanswered questions, we must remember that at the heart of this story, there's a couple who lived through an experience that changed their lives forever. Their story has not only become a cornerstone of UFO lore, but has also left a lasting impact on our collective consciousness. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, one thing is certain: the Hills story is a compelling tale that continues to spark debate, curiosity, and an insatiable quest for the truth.